This is Charleston's retirement coach, Brandon Bowen.
This is what you, Brandon, you do every single day in the office. You help folks, the good men and women of Charleston and the Low Country, take their nest eggs, put them into a plan to generate income, to have tax efficiency, to have Social Security and healthcare strategies. It is a lot that we have to do now to plan for our retirement because we're living so much longer, which is something that should be celebrated. But let's make sure that you've got a plan that's going to support you through many decades, hopefully, of a happy, healthy retirement, right?
That's right. How to do this stuff. I mean, yes, we're not telling anyone something they didn't know.
Right.
You know, like, okay, you retire, you live on what you've saved and Social Security and all this stuff, and let's enjoy the years we have. But how do we do this, Brandon?
Yeah.
How do we? So we are glad you were here.
Yes, that's it.
That's what we're going to talk about.
That's what we're going to talk about today. Yes. Let's start with, we're going to do some finance 101 in the conversation today.
Okay.
And consider our investments, because for so many of us, we work very hard, we save, we put it into our 401ks, or we have an investment portfolio. I mean, the market, it's huge for us. Our investments are huge for us when it comes to our retirement plans, Brandon. So you might have asked yourself, you dear listener, listening to us on WSC today, can I live solely on investment income? In other words, you use the income, the dividends, what's derived from those investments. You don't get into your principal.
Mm-hmm. So, only on the gains, you're saying.
Okay, yes, got it. So
yes, that's how people say it to me.
How would you, Mr. Charleston's retirement coach, how would you answer that question? And also, I mean, is it a bad thing to get into principal?
Well, gosh, that brings up so many questions in my mind. And, you know, because if I were to say, because a lot of people are thinking that I'm probably going to say, yeah, that's great. Let's just not touch the principal. Let's only live on the interest, the growth. Okay. That's easier said than done.
Right.
But it begs the question, okay, well, what financial instruments do we use? You know,
right.
To create that income. Are there some that are better than others? Mm-hmm. The answer is yes. Some people mistakenly think that they have to resort to higher risk. Also, Heather, they think they've got to keep taking all this risk in the stock market with all this tech sector because they think that's where growth came from for a lot of us. And so, well, if we need this to continue to grow, well, shouldn't we just stay right there, stay highly exposed into high risk investments? Mm-hmm. Let's caution against that.
Okay.
And then, maybe another question is, well, how much do I have to have? Do I have to have maybe 2 million, 3 million, just to live on? So what kind of income could it produce is basically the idea there. So let me just unpack some of those things, some of those thoughts here. And I want to start with a client story. Okay. So these clients, they came in just last year. Okay. They came in, retired from Somerville. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they had saved $1.8 million. Wow. So tremendous. Mm-hmm. They had both worked hard, saved in their 401ks, had some Roth IRAs, even had some joint accounts, some non-qualified. So they've moved a couple times. So they've done a beautiful job. We had multiple tax statuses, statusi. How would you? I don't know.
Statuses. Yeah.
And so, but yeah, and they were like, well, Brandon, here's what we've saved. Here's our pile of money, our nest egg. Mm-hmm. And they already knew the math. They said, we just need $10,000 a month to live on. Okay. $10,000 a month. That's a tremendous income, right?
Yeah.
6 figures there, $10,000 a month that had their needs, their standard of living money, but also the discretionary stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. That included some out to eats, going downtown Charleston here, taking some trips, maybe one big trip and then maybe a small trip each year. Right. So it was their monthly annual rhythm. They said, we need $10,000. So we were able to do that. When they came in and we put this plan together, we started working on building the income first. Okay. Just like what you were asking, Heather, yes, we've got to, our thinking, we have to change it from a growth as our first, second, and third goal of the money. Mm-hmm. And now it needs to be income is at least our first goal. Okay. Income is the most important thing in retirement. Okay.
Right.
We're walking away from our employer So now we just have Social Security most likely, and then your portfolio, right? So if you're trying to pursue all this growth, that means that you're taking on all this risk and you're just opening yourself up to having a rude awakening, a market crash, just the wrong things could happen here. And you and your spouse, or just you, you're going to be holding a lot of regret at that point. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've built my firm on, what I build each one of my plans on, is we've got to have that foundation. Okay. That foundation of a consistent, steady income stream. Okay. That's the first box that I check, is I want to make sure that you guys have enough income coming in to cover your standard of living. All right. And so what that might mean, and so this is some homework, you listening, you guys could do this here. You could start putting some of these numbers together before you pick up the phone and call the office. Let me give my number real quick. That number is 843-890-2400. 843-890-2400. In fact, if you're riding around right now or listening to the show and you're like, I've been wondering this same exact thing, I would love to have a plan put together where I'm only pulling out maybe the interest, or I'm not dipping, or I've got a nice solid income plan, or that you need a second opinion on what you're doing. You don't want to do this on your own. Then pick up the phone. I've got Tanya standing by right now. She's available for a phone call or even a text. 843-890-2400. You could text the word income. Each week we open up 5 spots for you to come in, have an initial conversation, and then we can see if we can help each other. 843-890-2400. So for these clients from Somerville, they knew they only needed $10,000 a month. So we satisfied that. We maximized their Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We generated some income stream by using $1 million of that 1.8. Okay. So we carved out, think of it this way. It's kind of like I took a knife and I carved out, maybe 60% of the money. I said, heck, okay, this 60% of your pile of money, we are going to allocate it for safety and income. Okay. Because this is going to allow you to sleep 8 hours every night. You're not going to worry when, not if, we have our next market crash and it's red across the TV screen and it's the scariest you can remember in a long time. You're going to be so glad to know that your standard of living, that you guys have $10,000 coming in every month, even if you are completely out of money. Okay. And they were like, Brandon, that means so much to us. That allows us to spend with confidence, right? To do these things, to spoil our kids and grandkids, with Christmas, and all these, and birthdays and summer vacations. I mean, how many of these do we have left? So I was saying earlier, okay, what type of investments do we invest in here? Well, now that we've got that income stream, now that consists of dividend paying stocks, dividend ETF portfolios, fixed indexed annuities. So there's so many things, so many ways that we can build this. So don't think that I'm trying to slam you into one specific product or strategy. Okay. There's many options that we can choose from to build this plan. But so we built that income stream. Now with the other 800,000, we're able to take on risk, right? We're able to take on some growth and trying to grow that money. Hopefully that money is going to be on a steady stream of increasing, while our income stream, our income bucket might be on a steady stream of declining, but that's fine. That's fine. Slow, controlled decline, where, maybe we can keep around the same 1.8 million for the rest of your life. Okay. So that was what we've done for them. I mean, if you've been trying to do this on your own, you might've been thinking and doing some research, looking at maybe the 4% rule. Right, Heather? Yeah. We've talked about that on the show here, saying you could pull out 4% of your portfolio and should be okay. I mean, that means you've got to have 2 million.
If you're hearing should be in this planning process.
I know. I don't like that word in my retirement
It's time
planning.
for a second opinion.
Yes. If you're hoping and you should be fine, there's better options. So, but if you're going to do a 4% rule, you got to have $2 million saved in order to pull out $80,000 a year right there. Right? $2 million if you're going to pull that 4%. So with the right plan in place, you can actually go higher than the 4% rule would allow. So that's great.
Yeah.
If you're going to use stocks, if you're going to have stocks as a lot of your portfolio here, trying to achieve these goals here, then what you've got to plan for is, okay, when we have this next crash, what if it's deep and long? What if it's multiple years that we are down there? Well, you've got to then be able to to not touch that money. You've got to be able to live on something else or not need it, right? And for most people, you're going to need some income in retirement, right? So that's what I want to have a plan together. In fact, I think, Heather, I want to talk about here, how I plan pessimistically for my clients here. Yeah. Let's do that in
this case scenario. Segment. Pessimistic is a good word. It's a smart strategy.
Right.
Yep. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. Pessimistic planning is what you should be looking at. You shouldn't have your advisor or you and your spouse. You guys shouldn't be hoping that, okay, well, if the market does what it's supposed to do, we're going to be fine, honey.
Right.
Or if it does like it's done the last 12 to 14 years, because it's been an amazing run we've been on. We're overdue for a major crash. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and if you swing the opposite way where you're way over exposed to bonds and defensive investments, well, then you might get left behind if you have another 20, 30 years of life. Okay. So let me take that second opinion, right? So all of this of what I'm saying here, I'm describing my income review. Okay. My income review. So how much can you pull in retirement? Is it from gains only? Is it principal and gains, right? What do we do with Social Security? If you have a pension option at work, everybody that's listening, everybody has their own unique story, their own unique circumstances. Yeah. And I want to come right alongside you, help you look over everything, an unbiased second opinion on what you're doing. And, how can we then start from scratch and start building your income plan? Okay. So pick up the phone right now. Here's my phone number. I have Tanya standing by, and my number is 843-890-2400. 843-890-2400. If you've saved $500,000 or more and you're ready to get this plan in place, you're like, okay, we've done the hard work. We want to have a professional come alongside, help give us a second opinion on what we do for our income. I'm even going to throw in, hey, what do we do with our investment risk? Are there tax strategies that we can incorporate with this here? But we're going to start with our income plan, giving you a second opinion on what you're doing there. You guys can take it back, talk it over, pray about it, decide, okay, is this something we want to do? Do we want to bring Brandon alongside to help us, potentially better achieve our goals? 843-890-2400. Pick up the phone right now. I cannot wait to speak with you.
Thanks for listening to Charleston's Retirement Coach Podcast with Brandon Bowen. To learn more, visit bowenwealth.com and join Brandon for his radio show, Charleston's Retirement Coach, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 94.3 WSC.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Brandon Bowen is licensed in your state, please call 843-203-2030. J. Brandon Bowen is an investment advisor representative of Bowen Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. J. Brandon Bowen is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Bowen Wealth, LLC, insurance licensed in South Carolina. Market Guard is a registered investment advisor with the SEC and provides model portfolios only to Impact Partnership Wealth. Market Guard makes no implied warranties or representations and is not liable for any data presented.